All right, that's good. Thumbnail time. Got to be careful on this one. No clickbait. So the video is about how to start a solo. Maybe I can hold my guitar and look kind of confused as to how to start a solo. I think that's appropriate. I'm gonna like this. Yeah, it's good. Okay. Come on. Okay. Try again. Take the picture. What's going on? Last time, come on. Can't spend too much time on this. Take the picture, come on. Wow, I don't know what that was. It was cool. Maybe I should do something about it. Hi, everyone. So today I thought we'd take some of the concepts, ideas that we have covered in the past, particularly the one that we covered a few days ago. You know, the clickbait one. What? Really? YouTube. Come on, be nice. All right. Anyways, we're going to explore today how to actually put into practice these things that we've covered. In other words, how do you start an improv when you don't know the scale and you just know the first chord? That's what we're going to do here. It's coming up. Hi, my name is David Wallerman. Welcome to this channel, which is all about helping guitar players like yourself, maybe not, find your voice on the instrument, develop it to tell your own musical story. See, I do read all your comments. If you're not in that category, that's fine. Don't take it personally. YouTube. All right, I've got a backing track here. We're just going to jam over this. All I know is that the first chord of the track is in E minor. That's all I know. So we're just going to play this. And as we're going to play this, we're going to gather a bunch of mental informations. Just keep in mind, the first chord is E minor. How do I know that? Because I practiced this a little bit before. How would you know that? Well, if you're in a band situation, maybe the other bandmate will give you the first chord. You just ask him, or you look at his fingers and that'll tell you. And yes, I am talking a lot, I know, but I want you to understand what's going on in my mind before I play. I know that the first chord is E minor. I know that most likely the rhythm section is going to cover the full, rich harmonic content of that chord. And if I was a rhythm player, I'd probably use a lot of open strings like this, lower on the fretboard. That would be probably my first E minor. But we are going to paint over this backing track, so I don't want to use the same exact chord voicing here. What I'm going to do, though, is use a different chord voicing, and my to-go one typically is going to be either a chord shape that has its root on the low E string or on the 5th string. And that happens on the right side of that. So in E minor, I know that if I use the chord voicing that had the root on the low E string, I want to differentiate myself from this open string. So I'm going to go all the way up here, and I don't want to do that. Usually I like to start in this zone of the fretboard. So I'm going to use the chord shape that has the root on the 5th string, 7th fret, because I'm in E. And I'm going to use that chord shape. E minor equals E minor 7. So I'm going to phrase around that and see what happens. Here's our track. I told you, a lot of talking. But here we go. I'm going to listen. Okay, here's our tempo. Subdivision, 16th note. That works well. I got my E minor shape here. I don't know what that chord is. I just know that it started with E minor. Therefore, those notes should work with that if I'm in a context where there's no modulation, a change of key. Let's just try a few notes. It works great, right? It works great because I could tell that the track is very melodic, single key, there's no weird modulation type of thing. You could hear when that happens. So I could just pick a few notes, and there's something important when I do that. I'm not going to just play these notes throughout the track, but as I am playing these few notes in E minor here, I am trying to find a couple notes that I'm going to go back to, later on in the improv when I figured out more notes. So for instance, this one, I kind of like that. I'm going to try to, okay, ba-da-bum. That's on the 2nd string, 8th fret. It's something you can go back to later on. And that was ba-da-bum. Could be another note, but ba-da-bum. Sounds good on this. So if I want to start a phrase with that ba-da-ba, or go back to that, 2nd string, 8th fret. And I know that I'm not just going to stay in that area of the fretboard. I've got all these possible notes that I can use to express myself. And that's where voicings are interesting. If you know multiple chord shapes, you're going to be able to navigate around the fretboard. So I've got my E minor, E minor 7. We've got another one here. So I've got 2 zones of the fretboard. One zone has the visual reference point, the root of E, of what we're imagining to be the focal point here, even though the other chords change. That's the 5th string, 7th fret. The other focal point that I'm going to have, visual point, reference point, is on the low E string, 12th fret. That's also an E. And something that works most of the times, not always, always exceptions, but most of the times you can be safe doing this, replacing a minor chord with a minor pentatonic scale and replacing a major chord with a major pentatonic scale. Because a minor chord, whether it's a 3-note chord, a triad, or a 4-note chord, is made of a root, minor 3rd, 5th, minor 7th most of the time. A minor pentatonic scale is exactly that 4-note chord with an additional 4th. And most minor modes have a perfect 4th. So that's why here what I could do is really quickly graduate from thinking in terms of that chord shape to a minor pentatonic scale. I'm just adding the perfect 4th. So all my licks are going to work. So it's a little richer. The choice of notes are a little richer, just one more note here. The perfect 4th. And most players stop there, which is fine. It sounds great. There's a lot you can say with the minor pentatonic scale, but you don't have to. You're only 2 notes away from a 7-note scale. Penta, 5 notes, just add 2 notes. So that's where the theory kind of helps us. And by the way, no, I talk a lot. I do read your comments. If you don't like it, just there's a mute button below. And the thing is here, we're 2 notes away from a mode. So if we look at the formula of our minor pentatonic scale, we have, this is where theory is important, we have a root, a minor 3rd, the perfect 4th, perfect 5th, minor 7th. There are no seconds and there are no 6ths. So all we need to figure out is what kind of second do I need here? Is it a minor second or a major second? What kind of 6th do I need? A minor 6th or a major 6th? And that's where there's several ways we could do that. We can look at the other chords of the chord progression, but in this case it's difficult because we're jamming over a backing track. We can't look at what the other guitar player is doing. We just have our ears to go by. So what I can do here is take one shape that I'm comfortable with, a minor pentatonic shape. Most of us are familiar with and comfortable with the first position, and E right here. And that's basically root, minor 3rd, 4th, 5th, minor 7th. And we need to understand where the 2nd would be and where the 6th would be. Well, the 2nd's going to be between the root and the 3rd. 1, 2, 3, right? And if we take a root right here on the high E string, 12th fret, the minor third on the first string, 15th fret, we know that these work because of the first chord. The major second is going to be 2 frets away from the root. The minor second, 1 fret away from the root. So how do we do that? Well, multiple tricks, but what I can do here is, as I'm phrasing, minor pentatonic, I'm going to do a little chromatic thing. That works, right? Because there's movement. But really, as I'm doing this, I'm really focusing on the second note. Does that work? No. Yeah. But it's fast, right? I'm analyzing these notes as I'm going. I know that the major second is the one. So really, I have a minor pentatonic scale with the major second. All I need to do now is find what is the 6th. And that'll give me the full 7-note scale. The 6th can be major or minor. Dorian or Aeolian at this point. It's not Phrygian because we figured that the 2nd is major. And same thing, the 6th is found between the 5th and the 7th. And you just do a little, we've got a 5th here in that first position on the 2nd string, 12th fret. And we have a 7th on the 2nd string, 15th fret. So you can do another chromatic thing. And if you're really fast, you can figure out the 2nd and the 6th by just doing that lick. Which will work, it's all passing, but as you're doing this, you're analyzing, okay, that's minor 6th. So you figure that out really quick. So if I slow the process down, that's our lick. And if I slow down the track, let's say that, this is happening in real time. Yeah, no, yeah. Okay, makes sense? Major 2nd, I selected that within the lick. Minor 6th within the lick. So now I know that it's Aeolian. A minor pentatonic scale with a minor 6th and a major 2nd. That's Aeolian. So now I have my full scale really quickly. So yes, this was, I don't know, a 10-minute video or whatever, but all that happens fairly fast if you train your ear to recognize the intervals. And just a few tricks. Like the first trick is know what the first chord of your chord progression is. I know that it's E minor because I just figured it out, and you just kind of listen, or you look at the other guitar player, or you ask your bandmate. You just need one chord, and from that one chord, you go from the chord to a 4-note chord by just your knowledge, eliminating what is kind of rare. So in this case, my first chord is E minor. A 4-note chord associated with that would be E minor 7. An E minor major 7, you can hear it. And I didn't hear that on my first chord. It's very, very distinct. So you just kind of eliminate the ones that are probably not going to work. And then from the 4-note chord, you go to a pentatonic scale. Major if it's a major chord, minor if it's a minor chord. And then you're only 2 notes away from a full 7-note scale from the 7-note alphabet. And you figure that out with some chromatic ideas. Or if you don't want to do the chromatic thing, which is, sometimes it works okay, but depending on the style of music, you can just mentally do the work of, that's my root, I'm not the Lord, and then from there, sing either a minor 2nd above. And I covered that in previous videos, but and imagine that over the track. Sometimes it might work, but you need to wait for a few chords to make sure that it doesn't clash with other chords. Because that could work here. No, it's probably a major 2nd. Happy birthday, ba-da-ba. Yeah. Okay? And so it can be mentally, or it can be with chromatic passages like that. That's my trick today. I don't know if it is a trick, but that's all. This happens in your mind really quickly. But by just taking time every single day to train your ears to hear those intervals, and then just make logical connections between things. Like, I got a minor chord, it's most likely a minor seventh. I could probably add the minor seventh. I can associate with that a minor pentatonic because I'm only one note away from a 4-note minor chord, minor 7 chord, to a minor pentatonic. There's only one additional note, that's the perfect fourth. Most 7-note alphabets have, or 7-note scales have perfect fourth, and then from there just figure out the 2 missing notes, and then you're good to go. If there's a modulation, a change of keys, it's a little different. That's where your ear really takes over. But let's focus on single key songs right now, like ballads and things like that, and see what happens. So I'm going to jam a little bit over this for fun and try to use these tricks as I'm going. No talking, just playing now. Here you go. You can get the backing track we used in this lesson and 4 additional ones, so that's a total of 5 backing tracks for free. Just visit the link below, enter a valid email address, and I'll be sending you those. You'll also be added to my newsletter, in which I send some valuable stuff, free stuff, and every once in a while I try to sell you a course, but no hard feelings if you don't. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for watching this. Share this around, and you should subscribe if you haven't already, because I have 3 videos coming every single week, helping guitar players like yourself find their voice on the instrument, develop it to tell your own beautiful musical story. Thanks so much. Let me know what you think below. I'll see you next time.